Here are some fascinating facts and historical contexts about A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. 1. Rapid writing process. Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol in just 6 weeks during the fall of 1843. Despite the short timeline, the novella remains one of his most enduring works. 2. Social commentary. The book was Dickens' response to the social and economic inequalities of Victorian England. He was particularly troubled by the treatment of poor children, which he explored through the Cratchit family, and the allegorical figures of ignorance and want. 3. Influence of Dickens' childhood. Dickens' own experiences with poverty influenced his writing. His family's financial struggles and his work in a factory as a child helped shape his empathy for the poor, which is evident in the novella's themes. 4. Revival of Christmas traditions. The book played a significant role in reviving Christmas traditions in England. At the time, Christmas was not widely celebrated, and A Christmas Carol helped popularize customs like feasting, family gatherings, and charitable giving. 5. Instant success. Published on December 19, 1843, the book sold out its first edition of 6,000 copies by Christmas Eve. Its success was immediate, though Dickens earned relatively little due to the book's high production costs. 6. Illustrations. The original edition featured illustrations by John Leech, a prominent artist of the time. His work added to the novella's charm and helped capture its emotional and supernatural tones. 7. Adaptations. A Christmas Carol has been adapted countless times for stage, film, television, and even opera. The story's themes of redemption and goodwill resonate across generations and cultures. 8. Social reform influence. Dickens was inspired by a government report on child labor and poverty, and the story's publication coincided with debates about the Poor Laws, which governed how the poor were supported in Victorian Britain. 9. Transformation of Scrooge's name. The name, Scrooge, has become synonymous with miserliness and lack of Christmas spirit, highlighting the cultural impact of the novella. 10. Ghost stories and Christmas. The Victorian era had a tradition of telling ghost stories during Christmas. Dickens drew on this tradition to create the supernatural elements of the book, blending them with the festive themes of the holiday. 11. Philanthropy inspired by the book. The story's moral of generosity inspired many Victorians to give to charity. Some argue it contributed to a broader cultural shift toward philanthropy during the holiday season. 12. Personal struggles during writing. While writing the novella, Dickens was facing financial difficulties himself. He was under pressure to produce a hit to support his growing family and maintain his lifestyle. 13. The legacy of Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim's character symbolizes the plight of children in poverty. His survival at the story's end reflects Dickens' hope for social change and the impact of compassion and generosity. 14. Historical context. Published in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, A Christmas Carol reflects the stark contrasts between wealth and poverty in 19th century England. It also critiques the era's utilitarian ethos, which often prioritized profit over human welfare. 15. Dickens' own public readings. Charles Dickens himself gave public readings of A Christmas Carol, which became highly popular events. He performed over 120 readings, captivating audiences with his dramatic storytelling. 16. Serialized influence. Although A Christmas Carol was published as a novella, Dickens' mastery of the serialized storytelling format contributed to its tight pacing and episodic structure, which make it feel almost like a staged play. 17. Victorian Christmas evolution. The story was published at a time when Christmas was undergoing a transformation in England. Influenced by Queen Victoria and Prince Albert's German traditions, such as Christmas trees, the holiday was becoming more family-centered and festive. 18. The Fezziwig contrast. Fezziwig, Scrooge's jovial and generous former employer, is believed to be inspired by Dickens' father, John Dickens. Despite his financial mismanagement, John was remembered by Charles as warm and kind-hearted. 19. Critique of Malthusian economics. The book subtly critiques the ideas of Thomas Malthus, who argued that population growth should be controlled to prevent resource scarcity. Scrooge's initial dismissal of the poor as surplus population directly echoes Malthusian thought, which Dickens opposed. 20. Innovative publishing format. Dickens insisted on a high-quality production for the first edition, with gilded pages, a cloth cover, and hand-colored illustrations. Despite this, the initial profit margins were small due to the cost of production. 21. The role of ghosts in Victorian culture. Victorian England had a fascination with the supernatural, and ghost stories were common in literature. By incorporating ghosts, Dickens connected with this cultural trend, making the story both timely and engaging. 22. Influence on language. Phrases from A Christmas Carol, like "Bah humbug" and "Merry Christmas," have become deeply ingrained in English vernacular, demonstrating the book's linguistic and cultural impact. 23. Charitable inspirations. Dickens visited the Field Lane Ragged School, a charitable institution for poor children, while conceptualizing the story. The visit profoundly affected him and informed his portrayal of the Cratchits and societal neglect of the poor. 24. Transformation as a universal theme. The idea of personal transformation resonated not only in Victorian England but also globally. Scrooge's redemption arc is now a universal symbol of hope and the ability to change. 25. Dickens' financial gamble. Dickens financed the first edition himself after disputes with his publishers over the book's format. While the profits were modest initially, the story's enduring popularity justified his risk. 26. Criticism of workhouses. The book indirectly criticizes the workhouse system, a government institution where the poor were provided with minimal food and shelter in exchange for grueling labor. This critique aligns with Dickens' broader advocacy for social reform. 27. The Christmas Turkey Tradition. The Cratchits' Christmas turkey reflects a real shift in Victorian dining habits. Before the 19th century, goose was the traditional Christmas meal in England, but turkey was becoming more popular among the middle class. 28. Global reach. By the late 19th century, the novella had been translated into multiple languages and adapted for international audiences, spreading Dickens' themes of goodwill and generosity worldwide. 29. Personal reflection. Dickens later referred to A Christmas Carol as a whim that gave him a haunting voice, highlighting how personal and emotionally resonant the story was for him. 30. Impact on theater. The novella quickly became a favorite for theater adaptations. Within weeks of its publication, unauthorized stage productions were being performed, a testament to its immediate cultural impact. 31. The Spirit of Charity. The novella helped to solidify Christmas as a time for charity. In Victorian England, acts of generosity during the holidays became more common, inspired in part by Dickens' message. 32. Timelessness. Though it reflects Victorian society, the book's themes, compassion, family, and redemption, remain universally relevant, ensuring its place as a perennial holiday favorite. Thanks for listening and watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Like this video. It helps more people find these classic stories. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think.